Hey, what's up, guys? 88.1 The Burg, your music central. It's Orton the Bear right here. On a beautiful Earth Day, we'll welcome in. It's a Hump Day edition of Orton the Bear.
Hump Day!
So, it's Earth Day. We're all doing our part like we do every day, as we always should. The Earth should be cleaner because we're all staying home and we're all staying indoors. We're not polluting it. There's less cars on the road, so. Will, on this glorious Earth Day, are you doing anything to help Mother Nature?
Yes. Later, I'm going to go out and I like to do my runs at night. I don't like people watching me. And so I'm going to go out. I can't
watch you at night. That's when I do my best watching of people running.
No, but it's harder because I wear like all black clothing. You know, like how you're not supposed to do, but I wear like all black clothing and I pull my hoodie up and then I go to like the middle school or the high school or wherever I might go and then I run. And
so you wear the I want to get hit by a car outfit while you're running.
Well, no, I drive my car. I don't run on the street. I do my football drills in the grass. And this is how I'm helping Earth Day. I kill all the bad grass, the grass that's already dying, the wheatgrass. Much like how a lion kills the cancer-ridden gazelle. That's what I do for the grass so that stronger, healthier grass can grow.
That's very nice of you. Now, on the other hand, what I'm trying to do for Earth Day is I enjoy sneakers and I enjoy spending money on sneakers, and places like Nike and Adidas are releasing fully recycled shoes that come from plastics in the ocean. So I am supporting Earth Day by buying myself new pairs of shoes.
Well, aren't they kind of the reason that we need an Earth Day? Because they have the factories in China that makes all the smog and makes it hard for us to breathe.
See, now you got the tinfoil hat on. And look, I'm just trying to celebrate Earth Day here by giving myself a new pair of shoes. Is that too selfish of me?
I don't know. I think maybe, you should do what we did in like elementary school, where now that you have a new pair, you take an old pair of shoes and you fill it with potting soil and then put in a plant. I think that's what you should do. You should grow a tree. That's what you should challenge Thursday. You should grow a tree from your shoe.
Do you want me to get my hands dirty? Are you serious right now?
Yeah. I mean, I'd like you one time to get your hands dirty on a challenge Thursday.
You see these hands? There's a reason they're that clean. Look at that.
I can because we're on video, but people in the car, they might be surprised to know that they can't see your very clean hands. Well, no calluses either. It almost seems like you live with a nice spoon in your mouth, some might say.
Look, I enjoy my life, and I will celebrate Earth Day by getting myself some new recycled shoes from Nike and or Adidas. I don't know. I can't decide. Maybe I'll get both. Who knows?
Well, yeah. We right now we have no sponsors, so we can't be picky and choosy about which brands we like and don't like.
Look, and it's Earth Day. If I buy two pairs of recycled shoes, that's just double the amount of that I'm giving back. I think it's a great thing.
Yeah, who knows? Well, do you know where the shoes come from? Are they like straight out of the dumpster? Or did they come from melted old Jays? What are they?
Well, no, they take plastics found in the ocean and they upcycle those plastics into sneaker material.
How much do those cost?
Anywhere from $80 to $160.
So think about this, Pate. They took your literal trash. They took like that Danimals cup that you didn't like anymore and threw into the ocean, you personally, and then took that, made it into a sneaker with other trash that other people discarded, and are now making you pay $160 for.
So are you against Earth Day, Will?
I mean, like, look, I'm not against Earth Day. I just kind of think it's a facade. Yeah. Like, we always pretend like we're doing nice things. We're not doing nice things. We're still dumping, like, lead into the water and then being able to light it on fire.
I think you're a facade, Will.
If anything, the only thing that really made us change our behavior is what's going on right now, because we're forced to stay in. Now, all of a sudden, you can see the LA skyline from outside of LA. Now, all of a sudden, there's fish swimming in Venice. I'm just saying that, look, we've been wondering about global warming. Maybe we just need to stay inside.
88.1 The Burg, your music central. It's another day of Ort and the Bear on this beautiful Wednesday evening here. And we have an NFL edition here bringing it to you because it's draft week. We said we were going to bring you some high-quality insight. But yesterday, Will, we missed out on some good old NFL news, and that is the fact that the Patriots managed to trade a retired player, and they got a fourth-round pick out of it.
Yeah. As a show that airs at 5, you would have thought that we would have talked about this since it did break at 1, but clearly we just missed the ball on this huge news.
Yeah, there must have been something going on that we didn't see yesterday. I don't know what it was, but there was some sort of issue there. No big deal. Tomato, tomato. But Rob Gronkowski gets traded to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
Tampa Bay?
Tampa Bay, excuse me. Tampa Bay with Tom Brady at quarterback. So they have a reunion there, and they have a lot of offensive weapons now on that Tampa Bay team. Tampa had to give up a fourth-round pick. They got a 7th coming back to them. But now on that offense, it's O.J. Howard, it's Rob Gronkowski. You get Godwin, you get Evans, Rojo in the backfield, Tom Brady under center. Is this team going to win more than 10 games? Because I'm still skeptical.
Yeah, 10 seems bold, but I do think they have a playoff run in them. I'm going to take – 10 is a lot, especially in that division, because one would think that Atlanta's going to be at least a little bit better, not to mention the Saints. They're the reigning division champions. It's hard for me to vote against Drew Brees. I do think that the situation in Tampa Bay is better, but I thought the same thing last year with Cleveland, and they stunk. So I'm kind of stuck here. I think the over-under should be more about 9.5 to 8.5 games, and I see them right around the 10-win mark. I think they get in the playoffs, but I think it's more as a wild card.
Okay. And I don't know how much this adds. Gronk, he sat out a year. He lost a lot of weight. He's going to come back in. Who knows how they're going to use him because they also have O.J. Howard. It seems like they have a lot of – it almost seems like they have too many weapons that there's got to be a hole somewhere. I mean, we know that they're starting Alex Kappa, who is a former Humboldt State guy on their offensive line. It's kind of weird seeing a Division II guy starting out there with a bunch of NFL guys. So you got to think, is the hole going to be on their line? Is Tom Brady not going to have all this protection that a 42-year-old should have?
So when I look at their line, I don't think so. Actually, they have multiple D2 guys. So Ryan Jensen, who's one of the better centers in the league, he's actually out of Colorado Mines, I believe. I believe he's from there. So you have a couple D2 guys on the team. My fear with them is defensively in their secondary. They got burned a lot last year. So that's kind of where the fear is, because we know how good their front seven is. Shaq Barrett's just nasty. He had a career year last year. So I would like to think that they'll be okay stopping running the ball, stopping other teams from running the ball. But I am a little fearful there. And when I look at Gronk, he's a little slimmer. But my hope there is for him, now that he's older, maybe Tampa finds a way to use him in the slot as more of a receiving tight end. He's always been a good receiver from the tight end position, but he's also been one of the best blockers. I think that's where you're going to see the biggest slide from him. I don't think they're going to ask him to do too much. And then I look at Bruce Arians, and he's one of the best offensive-minded coaches. So right now I don't see a ton. There's a few issues that I see, mainly in the secondary. But until they play, I'm reserving judgment.
So then looking around the rest of the league, there's two defensive ends who have kind of been making a little bit of noise here in this last week leading up to it. The Seahawks have failed to re-sign Jadeveon Clowney up until this point. John Schneider kind of said that time ran out and they're kind of going their separate ways. It doesn't seem too promising that they're going to get him back. And then the Jaguars with Yannick Ngakoue are still bickering on Twitter. It doesn't seem like they're going to be able to get a deal done. I think Jacksonville's going to end up trading him before the draft. Where do you think Yannick Ngakoue goes? Where do you think Jadeveon Clowney might end up?
Well, when I look at it, it's going to be teams that need defensive end help. So naturally, my first inclination is the Seahawks. I don't care. You can go out and say that you're done with Jadeveon Clowney if you want. I don't think that's true. He had one of the most disruptive seasons I've ever seen from a defensive end outside linebacker with only 3 sacks. The dude had 3 sacks, yet he still had, I think, 2 touchdowns on a pick and on a fumble recovery. So I wouldn't say that the Seahawks are out of it. And then when I go through it, I really think the Seahawks are the main go-getter. Maybe the Vikings, now that they're losing Everson Griffin. Those would be the 2 that I think have a shot going after both of these defensive linemen. Really, the draft is where we're going to find out what teams are thinking and what teams believe their needs are.
88.1 The Burg, your music central. It's Ort the Bear here with draft breakdown. Let's get into the first round. We'll jump right into it. The Bengals have been on the clock. They got the number 1 pick, worst record in the league. They got to be taking Joe Burrows, right?
Yeah, I mean, there's no other pick there. You got to go get a quarterback. At this point, after last year, obviously, career year, best year probably ever a college quarterback has had.
No.
You have to go with him. He has no injury issues so far. He's the number 1 pick. He has to be the number 1 pick. If you don't pick him,
you can't say he's had the best quarterback in a college football player ever when Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel did ungodly things.
He had the best season ever. If you go in and you look at his numbers, he has all the records for touchdowns, passing yards, percentage completion. He hasn't had a better career, per se, than Tim Tebow and Johnny Manziel. He sucked. Or, shoot, even Marcus Mariota. But if you look at a single season, he had the best year ever. You have to take him. If you don't take him, it's you have to take him. You can't.
Well, the Washington football team, number 2, a lot of people, everyone is thinking Chase Young. I don't think that the Washington football team should be looking at Chase Young as lock.
That's bold. He's as close to can't miss in this draft as there is. I won't ever say anyone's can't miss, but he's got all the makings of a D end. He can get to the quarterback. He can stop the run, but dude, there's just so much money that you can play. It's about getting to the quarterback, letting the quarterback throw the ball. He's just the best at getting to the quarterback. You have to give him the money, or I could see them maybe trading, but Ron Rivera is a defensive-minded coach. He's the best player in the draft, and he plays defense.
No, and we saw how successful like Nick Bosa was for the Niners this year, being a high draft pick, playing the defensive end, and they can be very successful, but I don't think that they are franchise turning. You need somebody who's going to be franchise turning, and you're not going to do that on a DN. Your DN's not going to be the anchor of your franchise turning team. Washington needs a quarterback. Dwayne Haskins is by far the worst quarterback in the league. There's a lot of second string guys who are better than Dwayne Haskins. And I think that they wouldn't go wrong taking Tua or taking Herbert with that number 2 pick.
That's bold. My thing is then you're in the issue of you've taken 2 back-to-back quarterbacks. Because obviously if you take Herbert or Tua, Haskins is done. That's over. So then you have to trust that these guys are franchise-turning quarterbacks. And I just don't think that about either one of them. I think they're very good. Tua is closer to me than Herbert, but Tua's issue is he is coming off of an injury to his hip, and he's had multiple ankle injuries on both legs. That would make me fearful of drafting him.
Which is and because of Tua's injuries, that's why I see Herbert as kind of a more viable option than Tua in this draft when it comes to quarterbacks. I think Herbert has the NFL body, the NFL mind. I think he can go on. He didn't do much at Oregon because it's Oregon, and they seem to always flop in the big moment. So I think that you get him into the league, you get him behind a good coach. I think Herbert would be just fine. Looking at Detroit, they're kind of, who knows what they're going to take. They have Matt Patricia as their head coach. He's a big defensive guy. Whether they go middle linebacker or DB, who knows what they're going for. But it looks like Slay's out the door. They traded Diggs earlier to the Seahawks. So going DB would be smart here for the Lions.
Yeah, if they don't trade out of it, although a lot of people think this is where the big trade is going to happen. A lot of people think that this could be a spot where the Chargers move up to come into the picture, or you could see Miami moving up to try and go get their quarterback. Kind of along the same lines as you. They want Herbert. They want Tua. I think it's a little early to take those two. I think you can get them in their spots. That's where you see the trade. Honestly, right here, I think if you're Detroit, you have to go with Okudah. He shores up your secondary. You lost two of your starters last year. You lost in Darius Slay, one of the best corners in the league. So I think you have to go with Okudah. He's from Ohio State. They're trusted. You know you're going to get a good corner out of there. That's where I would see their pick going.
All right, now let's jump to what the Seahawks are going to do in the first round. We see them trade back every single year. They turn that first-round pick into a second round and a fourth round, a second round and a fifth round. They go and they build more picks later in the draft. Are we going to see this, or are they going to use a first-round pick this year?
It wouldn't shock me a ton if you saw Seattle move completely out of the first round. That kind of seems to be Schneider's MO. He's a big quantity over quality per se, which is smart because in the draft, to a degree, yeah, you have your ideals and you think guys will do this, but it is in a way super risky. So he likes to get quantity. If they do stay in and make a pick, I would like to see them go after Yetur Gross-Matos out of Penn State. Their defensive line, we already talked about earlier, they're in trouble. They need guys who can get to the pass rusher. I think if you get a young defensive end, a guy who's good at getting to the quarterback, you let him learn under Bruce Irving, you let him learn under guys even like Jaron Reed, who has been very good at getting to the quarterback from his defensive tackle position. Let him learn from those guys on their pass rush moves, and then hopefully you're able to go out and get a Sheldon Richardson or get Clowney back, and then all of a sudden you went from having a very big hole in your D-line to now all of a sudden, hey, that's not a bad group.
Friday, we'll recap the first round of the draft. Tomorrow, we'll kind of be touching a little bit more on what we think's going on around the NFL, maybe give you some more updates. That's going to do it for Orton the Bear right here. It's been 88.1 The Burg, your Music Central.